Good morning, children. So, children, today we are again with the new chapter, revision of new lesson of political science. First chapter revision we have completed, that is power sharing. While teaching this lesson, in the starting only, while teaching this lesson, I told you that power sharing and federalism, both chapters are interconnected with each other. Power sharing is part 1 and federalism is part 2. So in the first chapter we discussed that how power sharing is beneficial for any country by discussing the example of Belgium and Sri Lanka. And in example of Belgium, children, we discussed that what was the accommodation done by Belgium government. In that accommodation, just remember one point that I discussed, that the government of Belgium declared Belgium as a federal country. In that, the power was divided between central government and state government, and in that, state government was not subordinate of central government. Both central and state government were independent of each other. So in this lesson, the same thing we have to discuss, and the chapter is based on this thing. Federalism is a system in which the power is divided between the central government and state government. Now children, first try to understand that what is the reason behind federalism. Why federalism is being practiced in our country. Just we'll go back before some years when a constitution was made. Our constitution makers, they thought that India is a vast country, and in this vast country, along with that, India has diverse culture. In India, people speak different languages. From state to state, language, culture, way of living, everything differs. And it will be very difficult for central government alone to just manage or administer the whole country alone. A single prime minister will not be able to manage the diversities which was there in our country. And at that time only our constitution makers, they decided that in our country federalism will be practiced, and in this federalism central and state government, their powers will be different. In that, central and state will be independent from each other. Both will take their own decisions, and state and central government will not interfere in the matters of state government. And the same thing you see just at present, what is the situation? In our country, central government functions for the whole country, and the power is given to state governments also. And different states are responsible for their own development. So federalism is a system in which power is divided between central government and state government. And in this, the state government is not the subordinate of central government, does not work under central government. They have the self-autonomy. They can take their own decisions and they can develop by their own. And you see that development of state is responsibility of chief minister, isn't it? And prime minister is responsible for the development of the whole nation. You see that elections are also held separately for center and state. Just now we see that in our state Bihar, election is going to be held after 2 or 3 months. And in different states, elections are held at different times. And after elections, as government is formed at central election, the same procedure is followed in state elections also. A separate state election commission is there for the state also for contesting election. So this is known as federal system. So after discussing what is federalism, we have also discussed why need of federalism was felt. The need was felt because our country is a vast country with lot of diversity, and that is why federalism was practiced. Now in this chapter we will discuss first about what is federalism and what are its features. We have already discussed each and every feature in the starting video, so just will revise in short all the features. The first feature that is very important, one by one, some features we will discuss. There are I think 7 or 8 features, but we will revise in short. Some features are, in federalism, there are two or more than two tiers. You see that in our country, central government, state government and local self-government, isn't it? And separate powers are given to all these three tiers. That means the state government has got separate powers, the central government has got separate powers, and if there is dispute between central and state government, that means every central and state they have a separate jurisdiction, they have different responsibility. If any type of difference is found, dispute is between different governments, Supreme Court acts as umpire. The Supreme Court only has the power to interpret the constitution. In our country, state government have their own self-autonomy in case of revenues and income. Whatever revenues and income is there with the state government, they develop the state. That means that you have separate taxes for state and center. State is responsible for its own development. Central can give funds to state government for the development, but how to use that fund, whether the state is developed or not, is responsibility of the state government. That's why you see that different powers are divided between state and central government, that we'll discuss in the next video, that central list, state list, concurrent list, which are the subjects in the central and state list, isn't it? All this is done in the federal system. And if there is any dispute, it is the responsibility of the Supreme Court. And each and every state and center, each tier has its own jurisdiction, has its own power. So these are some of the features which we have discussed, the features of federalism. And the most important feature is that federalism is based on the ideology that though central and state are separate from each other, but they work on the ideology of mutual trust. They should trust each other and they should live each other and cooperate each other for the development of the nation. Federalism does not mean that state and center are separate from each other. They have been separated for the ease of responsibility, for ease of administration, isn't it? So these are the different features of federalism that we have discussed and today we have revised. And the next part that we have to study in this lesson is how federalism is practiced and what makes India a federal country, in which we will discuss the different points like language policy, linguistic states, isn't it, and central state relationship. And then we will discuss that what makes India a federal country. In this we will discuss the different types of list. This you are studying from class 7th or 6th. What are the different types of list? The list is union list, state list and concurrent list. Now children, what is this union list? There are certain subjects in which the only central government can make the rules, can take decisions, has power to take decisions and make laws on these subjects. And these subjects are known as union list, like railway, finance, banking, foreign affairs, defense. These are the certain sectors where only central government can make laws. State government cannot make laws. This is known as what? Union list. Second is state list. There are certain subjects. In these subjects, only state can take decisions. Central government does not interfere, like police, agriculture, irrigation, the electricity. These are the subject of local importance, of state importance, where central government does not interfere. Always you see that Bihar police, isn't it? Irrigation, electricity, taxes that belong to state is responsibility of state government, is responsibility of chief minister, you can say. And in these subjects, only state government can take decisions. That is why it is known as state list. And we have already discussed what are the subjects included in that. Now, the third list is concurrent list. Concurrent list, in this list there are certain subjects which are like in this concurrent list, both state and central government can combinedly take decision. Central and state, both of them can take decision. And examples are education, adoption, marriage, divorce. These are the certain subjects where combinedly central and state government can take the decision. But here one point is there. If any dispute arises between central and state, in case of concurrent list, always central government will dominate. In case of dispute, in case of differences in these matters, central government will take the decision. Otherwise, in these matters, both central and state government can combinedly take decision. So this is known as what? Concurrent list. And the last is residuary subjects. Children, there are certain things which have come many years after independence, like computers, digitalization, globalization. All these things were not there when a constitution was made. So these subjects were not included in any of the list. So if government has to take decisions regarding this matters, who will take decision? Central government. And these subjects which are not included in any of the list because they have come many years after independence, these are known as residuary power or residuary list. And in this case, only central government can take decision. State government does not have power to take decision in residuary subjects. So children, we have today discussed the very important part of the different three lists. And this list are union list, state list, content list and residuary subjects. This is very important and mostly a long 5 marks question comes from this part. So today we have revised what is federalism. We have revised definition of federalism. We have also discussed the different features of federalism in short. Then we have revised what are the three lists and what makes India a federal country, isn't it? And in that we have discussed the three lists, union list, state list and concurrent list with the help of example. A long question of 5 marks can come from this part. And we have discussed lastly what are residuary subjects. So the questions mostly that comes from this portion is, first is define federalism and discuss its features. This question mostly it comes for 5 marks and always what you should do? First you should write definition of federalism and at least you write 5 features of federalism. Then you will be able to get 5 marks. Then a question can come that mention and discuss the different list of our country and in that what it will come? Union list, state list and concurrent list. That you have to discuss each and every list with examples. Then a separate question can come, what are residuary subjects and who takes decisions in these subjects. In that you have to write about residuary powers, residuary subjects and the importance and the decision is taken by central government. Then a question can also come that in case of concurrent list, if any conflict is there, who will take decision? Very simple. The answer is who will take the decision? The answer is mostly central government. Then a question like this can also come that how Supreme Court acts as an umpire where dispute arises between central and state government. In that you have to just write whatever feature is given in your book. So like this a separate questions can come from this. So today we have discussed this part. In my next video we will discuss about language policy, linguistic state and central state relationship. And then we will discuss which type of questions can come from this portion. And children, as we are doing revision, during revision your work should be, you should try making at least 20 MCQs from each of the chapter and then revising. You read the full chapter and after reading the lesson you just you find out the difficulties what you are facing and whatever difficulties are there we'll take interactive classes In that you can ask me all the difficulties. Thank you, children.